take time out for themselves. Nobody spends time with themselves. Every evening when I walk my dog for half an hour, that's my alone time. And you're like, no, that's walking a dog. When I'm at the gym working out, that's my alone time. And you're like, no, that's being at the gym. Alone time is you sitting down in a chair at home or on the floor, cross-legged, no music, no journal, no podcast, your eyes closed, and spending time in contemplation and reflection. Not meditation, but in actual reflection and really having a conversation with yourself, the same way we're having a conversation, getting to know each other and each other's opinions and thoughts. You have a conversation with yourself, and people don't do that, right? They don't spend any time doing that, and if you don't spend any time doing that, how would you know what's important in your life, where are you struggling, and what you need to focus on next, and what you need to work on? You're so busy from the moment the alarm rings, they reach over to the side table, grab their phone, turn off the alarm, look at all their notifications, and then start stroking that phone. This is how people get pleasure in the morning, stroking the phone. When you're so determined, when you're so clear what you want in life, and you're so determined to get it, and you're willing to give up everything and everyone for it, then you're living a life in alignment with your purpose, and then you can spend the rest of your life in sync with who you are, as opposed to chasing so many different things around you that sparkle, whether it's, I want to be like that person, and I want to do this, and that sounds fascinating, maybe I'll try that for a few years. You meet kids nowadays that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and you ask them, what do you want to do? What are you studying at university? Oh, I think I'll do science and for a year, and then I might major in this, but I was also thinking I might take a year off, travel a little bit and then come back, and I'm not sure, maybe I'll do arts. I'm kind of interested in this topic. How do you not know what you want to do? We have one life. You don't get a second shot at this. Get clear what you want. A lot of times I think people have this misconception that, if you practice something in the morning, people say to me, Dandapani, if I practice meditation for 10 minutes every morning, is that going to affect my life? I'm like, yes, but what are you doing the remaining 23 hours and 50 minutes? If you're doing things that counteract what you're doing in the morning, then it doesn't help. If you exercise for 10 minutes in the morning and the rest of the day you're eating, fish and chips and drinking beer and pizza, laying on the couch, it's not going to help. And the thing is, you can go and troll the web or YouTube and you get bits and pieces here, but unless you have a structured approach to learning and someone guiding you and training you, you never really learn. But when you go on YouTube or you go online, you read a few things, you don't get the same effect. There's no quick fix in life. That's the first thing you have to understand. And I think technology trains us to think they're quick fixes. So I can go on my phone, I live in New York City, I can order something on Amazon. Actually, last week I went on Amazon, ordered something at 10:30 at night, and the next morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, FedEx buzzed my door and it was there. It's crazy, right? So I can get things instantaneously through technology, and then because we're so trained to getting things as soon as we want them, that we apply that to our life. And we think that, we can change overnight, and then people out there selling hacks. There's this hack, there's that hack, how are we gonna hack this, how are we gonna hack business, how are we gonna hack the mind, how are we gonna hack the body? But it doesn't work that way. You have a child, and your child is growing slowly and learning slowly. There's no way to hack your child. Can you make your 3-year-old boy, right? You have 3-year-old boy learn...
Walk faster, talk
faster, learn triple integrals by tomorrow. Why don't you hack him? It doesn't work, right? And then why as adults do we think we can hack everything? It's not sustainable. It's another thing that's being sold out there besides hacking. It's like, let me certify you to be a yoga teacher, let me certify you to be a life coach. I know you're 19 years old and you've never had any experiences in life, nor have you achieved anything that pushed you beyond the limits of your imagination, but let me certify you as a life coach after a 3-day weekend program. And I think when you go with the idea that I'm going to learn something and then take that content and teach it, you never really learn. if you go thinking, I want to take this knowledge and teach it, then when you listen to the person speaking to you, the first thing you're going like, that's really good, that's interesting. I think I'm going to share it that way. I should really include that in chapter 5 of my course. Yes, and I think I'll add that little bit to this and then I can teach it that way. So then you're not processing, you're taking it, you're repackaging it, and you're thinking how to sell it or give it out again. Someone wants to learn martial arts, they want to learn the quick swirled 360 kung fu kick in the air or something. No one wants to go and do the hard work. And it's not only about training the body, it's about training the mind too, right? The mind needs to adjust, and the mind is like a muscle. It needs to reshape itself to be able to take on a new way of thinking and a new way of behaving, and progressively hold that new shape. And that only comes through repetition and patience and slow, hard work of doing the same thing over and over again. But that's the training that most people just don't want to go through, and I think so many teachers out there are selling quick fixes, and because they have never been trained themselves properly, so they've got a quick fix learning to get from A to B, so then they go and teach a quick way to get from A to B. They don't understand this old traditional path of slowly learning and developing yourself over a period of time is what really creates mastery in a certain level. You get used to being comfortable, and that's the problem, right? You stay in an apartment for long enough, you stay in a city for long enough, you're comfortable, you know where to go buy your milk, your bread, your surroundings, you get comfortable, you get used to it. And one of the biggest teachings he taught me is about awareness in the mind. You're not the mind, rather you're pure awareness traveling through different areas of the mind. And your goal is to take your awareness from your conscious mind, move it through the conscious mind, through the subconscious, into the superconscious areas of the mind, which is the most refined areas of your mind to experience deeper inner states and ultimately self-realization, God realization. But awareness travels in the mind, but when you get stuck physically in a certain place and you get used to your surroundings and your comforts, your external environment is a reflection of how your awareness is working in your mind. That means your awareness is stuck in a particular area of the mind because there's really no separation between your inner state and your outer state. To not allow my awareness to get stuck in a particular area of mind and in a particular area of the mind and stay in a rut, and that I could actually break my awareness free from a particular area of the mind, really grab hold of it and take it deep within myself and experience deeper states of mind and the superconscious and ultimately self-realization. And social media encourages that, right? I mean, if you go on most people's timelines, a lot of people's timeline, it's amazing. You can scroll through and it's just there's 1,000 posts, and it's 999 pictures of themselves, selfies. And I think social media has made people extremely selfish, and all people think about is themselves. Here's what I'm doing, look at me here, look at me there. And you look at also public figures and celebrities and influencers, they constantly post pictures of themselves and their amazing life traveling all around the world. And I see and I know some of these people, and they never post pictures of their students or, who's following them. It's always about them. I went to my guru, was always, Gurudeva, what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I be of service? And sometimes I didn't even ask because I intuited what needed to be done next. And that's the state of responsiveness, right? As a monk, 3 qualities were really important to cultivate. Humility, obedience, and responsiveness, right? Humility, obedience, and responsiveness. Humility is a state of knowing that I don't know anything. You adopt the attitude that I am the beginning of the path, I know nothing, I'm super enthusiastic, and I want to learn and grow. Obedience is obedience to your teacher because you trust him or her, and also obedience to your superconscious mind, which is your intuitive mind, the greater knowing of your mind that knows everything. That's the area of your mind, the superconscious that knows, that's the all-knowing part of your mind. Be obedient to that superconscious. So when you get an intuitive flash that tells you, do this, which quite often people refer to as a gut feeling, I call it an intuition because the gut kind of is more related to your instinctive mind. So you're intuitive, be obedient to that. So if you broke the mind down to three parts, you would say there's the instinctive, the intellect, and the intuitive. So my intuitive mind knew that that was the right thing to do. The intellect was saying like, it's getting dark outside, I have to walk through the forest, can we do it in the morning? That's the intellect, it's reasoning. And the instinctive mind just said, no, I'm afraid to go live in the forest because some animal's gonna come eat me at night. The instinctive mind likes the same thing. It's the nature of the animal mind, right? It loves repetition. The intellectual mind likes new things. That's why the intellectual mind can be fascinated with the internet and gets caught in the internet because it's always serving you something new online. Whereas the instinctive mind loves repetition. That's why a cow, for example, is an instinctive animal. It can wake up every day and eat grass. It wakes up and goes like, oh, grass, amazing. It never gets up and goes like, God damn it, I want granola. Give me bacon and eggs today. No, it eat grass every day for 20 years and be totally happy with it. Imagine if we ate the same thing for breakfast every day for 20 years. We'd probably go like, no, like put something different on it, right? But the instinctive mind loves the same thing. And the instinctive mind staying in this hut, in the 10 by 10 foot hut, gets comfortable. It knows its surrounding, and that's what the instinctive mind wants, right? It wants familiarity. It wants everything to repeat itself in the right way. And when it does that, it feels safe and secure. In the monastery and in the military, they have rituals and routines. Because if you look at the instinctive, intellectual, and intuitive, one of the things you want to do is to make the instinctive mind be totally safe and secure. And by that, you create routines. Monks have routines, soldiers have routines. You feed them at the right time every day, right? When that happens, the instinctive mind of a soldier and of a monk becomes safe and comfortable. They don't have a fear and flight feeling. So now they can move out of the instinctive mind and function in the intellectual mind or the intuitive mind. So a soldier can go into battle and not live in the fear of the fight or flight area of the mind. And he can be in the intellectual area of the mind. So you see, I see the enemy coming this way. Maybe I'll go around this way and shoot him from the back. Okay. Right? Because if not, he's in the instinctive mind. He'll go, I'm going to fight or I'm going to run. And by creating routines and rituals, you make the instinctive mind feel secure and calm. You've got humility, obedience. When you hear your intuition speaking to you, the next step is be responsive. Response, do something. If your teacher tells you to do something, go and do it. Respond, be responsiveness. And if you don't have to sometimes wait for instructions, if you see something on the floor that shouldn't be on the floor, pick it up. Don't wait for somebody to tell you to pick it up. Go do it, right? And that's the state monks were trained to have, the state of responsiveness. You see a dirty dish in the sink, go wash it. Yeah, it's not yours, I know, but wash it. Learn to serve.
Are these the three good traits of a good human as well?
I think so. Yeah, humility, obedience, and responsiveness. People hate the second one, obedience. Don't tell me what to do.